Hello, dear beloveds. I am really excited to share this video with you today because, oh my God, we're talking about synchronicity, and I've already had synchronicity happen this morning, and I really I'm just bursting. I'm totally elated. It's so crazy how these things happen. So one of the reasons that I have been making these videos is purely just to share my story, or to share stories, because I feel that's what I live for. It's what I love more than anything else in the world. And I don't care how many people watch this. I don't care if it really relates to you or not. I'm doing this purely for me. It's for my own pleasure, and I'm getting so much out of it. But in terms of synchronicity, I mentioned it the other day in my last video, which is when you follow your intuition, that synchronicity is one of the factors, or it's almost like a guiding light that happens as a not a consequence, but almost as a reflection of you following your intuition. And it's when it happens, you just go, oh my God, really? You get that sense that I must be on the right track, because if these things are coming up, they're almost like little nods or winks or nudges from the universe going, I just want you to let you know that you're going in the right direction. So I want to share with you a little story about synchronicity. So for me, synchronicity is the alignment of people, places, and events that seem completely random, but that are in fact divinely orchestrated. So in my most recent trip to India, some of you may or may not know, I've been on this journey for the last few years working with the divine feminine, working with the goddess. And Kali, big, huge energy Kali, who is the one who is the liberator, and most people see her as this very scary and dark force, but she's also one of the many forms of the divine mother. And when you think of your mother, sometimes she can be a bit of a pain in the ass. You know, she loves you unconditionally, but she's still going to be the one that's kind of quite strict a lot of the time. So for me, that's what Kali's energy is. And I thought that Kali was the one who was bringing me to India this time, as she was the one who I followed last time. But when I got to Varanasi, which was my second stop, I went to my favorite temple, which was the Lalita Tripur, or it was in Lalita Ghat, I should say, and the temple is a temple for Raj Rajeshwari, who is one of the forms of the divine feminine of the goddess Lalita. And Lalita Tripura Sundari is known as the goddess of the three worlds, which is really beautiful. So that can be seen as the dream, the waking, and the sleep state, or the real, the unreal, and the place in between, like the bridge, or she can be seen as the light and the dark, and the place in between. And she just rules all these worlds. She's very regal and very queenly, and has this incredibly enticing and insatiable energy about her. The ancient poets wrote hymns and poetry to her about her magnificence, of just how intoxicatingly beautiful she was. So when I was there in Varanasi, on my last morning that I was there, I went to her temple and was there for the arati, which is where they worship the goddess. And when they were doing so, they scatter out water that they've gathered from the Ganga and blessed, and then they shake it out onto the participants. And I had this one drop that almost landed right where my mindus are, right here, or my tikas, I should say, but the point of focus. And when it landed there, I thought, oh my gosh, I need to do a 30-day Lalita sadhana. I thought, that's really strange. I don't know where that thought came from, and I don't even know how to do it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start chanting her mantra. And I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do it on my mala beads, and I'm going to do it for 30 days, because that's kind of what I've been told. And the amazing thing was that Lalita then seemed to guide me through my journey in India that time, and she came up in the most bizarre and unusual ways. But I want to share with you the one thing that happened that's so synchronistic, it totally blew my mind. So when I went down to South India, I went to Tiruvannamalai, which is where Ramana Maharshi's ashram is. The first day I arrived there, they were doing a big homam, or a puja, a big fire puja. And it had been said on the time slot or on the schedule that they do this every Friday to Sri Chakra, which is in sacred geometry the divine manifestation of Lalita Tripura Sundari, one synchronicity. But when I was there, this hammam, it felt really, really powerful, really, really strong. And I could hear the priests, and there were probably about 50 of them, they were reciting in Sanskrit this mantra that began with going Om Aim Hrim Shrim, which is the chant or the bija mantra of Lalita Tripura Sundari. I thought, this is a bit strange. Like, there's Lalita again. And it continued for about 6 hours, and they were pouring coconuts on there and ghee, and the energy was getting more and more, and there were probably about 200 participants. And when it finished, I felt almost quite dizzy and a little bit overcome by everything. And it wasn't until the next day that I found out from someone that it was not the Sri Chakra Puja at all. Oh, no. This was a special puja that they did once a year, just once a year. And it was to commemorate the consecration of the touch of Ramana Maharshi touching Sri Chakra, where they began to worship that form. And on this sign I saw the next day, it said participants are invited to come and partake in this celebration and this ritual to receive the blessings of the goddess Lalita Tripura Sundari. What? How does that even happen? And it was me following my intuition to go there at that time that synchronistically met with that event taking place. And just really quickly, here's a little something else that's synchronistic. Just before I began this video, which is why I'm so elated going, what is this? I was listening to some music, and I've just downloaded some new albums the last few days. One of them is called Subway Bhakti, and so it's all these beautiful Bhakti tunes that have been remixed. The last song that came on before I began this video was called Hare Hare Sundari. What? I didn't even know that song was on there. How ridiculous is that? I was like, okay, I feel once again synchronistically like I'm on the right path. So this is my little journey into synchronicity with you today. I hope that when you do things that you love today or in the future, you can see little synchronistic flags, winks, nudges, and nudges showing you that you're going in the right direction. So here's to a beautiful day, beloveds. I'll see you on the next video very soon. I love you.